This is the Focus Shift podcast, your best listening experience for creating your best online business. We'll focus on topics that help you get discovered. So sit back, listen, take notes if you like, and get excited about growing your business.
Whether you are a photographer, a freelancer, or just someone who has ever stared at a totally blank screen with just like absolute dread while trying to write an About Me page, you know that building a website can feel like a grueling part-time job.
Oh, it really does. It's exhausting.
Yeah, right. So today we are unpacking how new AI tools are basically turning that chore into, well, like a 15-minute coffee break. Welcome to today's deep dive. Our mission today is all about exploring how independent business owners can finally reclaim their time and, honestly, their sanity when it comes to their online presence.
And we are officially moving past the era of AI as just, a mere novelty.
Right, like making funny pictures of cats.
Exactly. We aren't just talking about generating surreal images or writing poems in the style of Shakespeare anymore. We are entering a phase where AI handles the administrative friction of business ownership. It allows creators to actually focus on their craft instead of, forcing them to become amateur web developers.
Which nobody wants to be unless they're actually a web developer. Yep. So that administrative friction is exactly what we are digging into today. We're looking at the systems emerging from the PhotoBiz Growth Hub specifically. We're looking at their new AI website creator, their AI page creator, and this highly flexible template architecture they've built.
It's a really fascinating stack of sources we have today.
It really is. But before we get to the 15-minute solution, I feel like we have to talk about how we ended up with this massive digital real estate problem in the first place. Because, if you go back to the early 2010s, the prevailing wisdom was completely different.
Oh, totally. The advice was always, don't bother with a website.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was just make a Facebook page, spin up an Instagram account, and you are good to go.
And that early 2010s trend of relying entirely on social media is, well, it's actively failing businesses today.
Yeah.
The fatal flaw in that strategy is that algorithms constantly change. What got your work noticed and praised 3 years ago might render you completely invisible today.
Literally zero views.
Exactly. When you build your entire business presence on a social platform, you are essentially at the mercy of systems you don't control. A website remains the only stable foundation you fully own.
Right. It's like relying on social media is like renting a booth in a crowded mall where the landlord keeps moving the doors.
That's a great way to put it.
And they keep changing the signs, and sometimes they just turn off the lights in your hallway entirely. But having your own website is owning the building. You hold the keys.
You do. But getting those keys, actually building the structure, that is where the massive roadblock hits.
Right, the 20-hour wall.
Yes. Beginners are spending 10 to 20 hours building a site, and even experienced users, people who know their way around digital tools, they are spending 5 to 10 hours just getting a basic site ready to publish.
Which is a staggering loss of productivity if you're trying to run a full-time business.
It's huge, and the reason it still takes so long is that many so-called fast website builders on the market today only automate the very first step.
The template picking.
Right. They let you pick a visually appealing template, and then they completely abandon you to do all the heavy lifting.
Yeah, you still have to painstakingly upload every single image, figure out the cropping, which is always a nightmare.
Always.
You have to format the text, write the persuasive copy, and manually input the SEO metadata. It still feels like starting entirely from scratch. They're just doing it inside someone else's wireframe.
Exactly. You get this gorgeous template, and then you just sit there staring at paragraphs of Latin placeholder text.
The lorem ipsum stuff.
Yes. And you're just thinking, well, now what? The cognitive load of making every single design and copy decision is just exhausting.
It's paralyzing, which is why the macro solution PhotoBiz is rolling out is so compelling. They are shifting the entire paradigm from actually building a website to simply editing one.
And the efficiency of their timeline completely bypasses that cognitive overload we just talked about. We are talking about going from 0 to a live populated site in a fraction of an hour.
Let's actually walk through what that 15 to 20-minute process looks like in practice. Because honestly, it sounds like an exaggeration until you see the steps.
It does sound a bit like magic at first.
Yeah. So first, you spend maybe 5 to 10 minutes browsing and picking a template you like. Then you spend about 3 minutes uploading your logo and a batch of your own images, say around 25 core photos that represent your work.
Okay.
After that, you spend exactly 5 minutes filling out a straightforward business profile. You type in your name, your location, your specific industry focus, and you select a brand voice.
Right. Getting the tone right.
Exactly. And then you click button. From there, it takes exactly 12 minutes for the AI to generate the entire site.
And those 12 minutes are where the real heavy lifting happens. What's fascinating is looking at the underlying mechanism of what the AI is actually doing while you step away to get a coffee.
Because it's not just pasting things randomly.
No, not at all. It isn't just blindly pasting your photos into preset boxes. It is synthesizing the data. It analyzes those 25 uploaded images, extracts the dominant colors to ensure the site's palette matches your visual aesthetic, and maps your business profile to specific conversion zones on the page.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's essentially acting as a junior designer, a copywriter, and a structural architect all at once.
That is wild. Let's look at a real-world example of this in action from the sources. Take Jen Lewis, a professional photographer who test drove this exact system live.
Oh, this is a great example.
What makes her experience so perfect for this discussion is that she didn't even need a new website. She wasn't acting out of sheer desperation, She already had a site she loved and that clients complimented her on.
Which makes her the ultimate skeptic.
Exactly.
She approached the tool with a very critical eye, purely out of curiosity to see if it could actually match human design intuition.
Right. So she goes through the setup, uploads her brand elements, and hands the AI a batch of her senior portraits. 12 minutes later, the site generates. And her reaction was incredibly telling.
She was shocked.
Yeah, she didn't see generic placeholders. She didn't see fake stock photos of attractive people in business suits pointing at laptops, right?
We all know those photos.
The AI used her actual uploaded senior portraits as the foundational context of the design. There was this literal pause where she just stared at the screen and then finally said, "Oh, this is actually really good."
And that pause represents the exact moment the friction of web design dissolves. It's the realization that the system understood the context of her specific art.
Wait, hold on. I need to ask the skeptical question here on behalf of anyone listening.
Go for it.
If an AI is automatically writing all the text, structuring the layout, and placing the images, how does this not just look like a robotic cookie-cutter template farm? Doesn't the site lose the soul and the unique voice of the actual business owner?
That is the most common and, frankly, the most valid concern creators have. But there is a massive psychological shift in how this specific tool is designed.
Oh, wait, how so?
It operates as what you might call a calmer kind of AI. The goal isn't to replace the artist's eye or churn out a finalized, untouchable product. It is deliberately designed to provide an 85% complete foundation.
Ah, so it's not the final draft.
Exactly. The AI isn't saying, here's your perfect website, don't touch it. It is saying, here is a highly educated, contextually accurate first draft.
So it completely shatters the blank page syndrome. You aren't staring at an empty canvas wondering where to put the first headline.
Right. Your job shifts from the grueling, paralyzing work of building to the much more satisfying, creative work of editing. You are refining the edges, tweaking a phrase to sound a little more like you, or swapping a hero image.
You are steering the ship rather than having to build it plank by plank. For Jen, that editing phase felt deeply satisfying instead of tedious. But the thing that really blew her away wasn't the layout. It was the administrative backend, the hidden wins.
The stuff literally no business owner actually wants to do.
Exactly. When she dug into the settings of her new site, she realized all the SEO fields were already populated intelligently. And when she clicked on individual images, the image alt text was already written for every single photo.
Which is incredible. We all know alt text is vital for accessibility and for search engines to understand what an image depicts.
Yeah, but writing it...
Right, manually writing descriptive text for 50, 100, or 200 images is mind-numbing labor. Having an AI use vision recognition to accurately tag and describe those images automatically is monumental.
It's the ultimate friction remover. I don't know anyone who enjoys writing alt text.
Nobody does. And this isn't just about saving an hour of tedious typing. It's a profound strategic marketing advantage.
It's of Google, right?
Yes. Google heavily favors websites that are dynamic, accessible, and updated with fresh, consistent content. If the sheer pain of updating your site means you only do it once every 3 years, your search ranking will inevitably tank.
Makes sense.
By having the AI instantly handle the SEO, metadata, and the alt text, business owners can actively play the Google algorithm game without needing to hire an expensive SEO consultant.
So the initial launch problem is solved. You've got the main site up, the SEO is dialed in, and it took the length of a coffee break. But getting the site live is really only day one.
Right, it's just the beginning.
The real friction hits on day 180 when you decide you want to launch a new service or target a new demographic. Usually, traditional platforms make adding complex new pages just as tedious as the initial build.
Because generating the whole site is crucial, but a static site is a dying site. The digital landscape requires constant iteration.
Which brings us to the micro level of this system from our sources,
Yeah.
the AI Page Creator. This feature generates individual purpose-built pages in under 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Literally. You just select a design style, type in the name of the page like home, about, or services, and the AI intelligently structures the layout based on your updated business profile.
And the key word there is intelligently. The underlying mechanism relies on semantic analysis.
What does that mean in practice?
Well, the AI doesn't just read the word services and dump a random block of text onto the screen. It understands the underlying intent and the expected user journey for that specific type of page.
Okay, the analogy I keep coming back to is having an aggressive, highly skilled sous chef in your kitchen.
I love that analogy.
Right. It chops all the onions, portions out the meat, gets the pans hot, and organizes your entire station. You just get to walk into the kitchen and do the fun part, the actual cooking and plating.
That is spot on. You are absolutely still the head chef. You dictate the menu and the final flavor. But the AI handles all the miserable prep work, so you don't have to spend your morning crying over chopping the SEO onions.
Chopping the SEO onions, yes.
Right. And if you tell this sous chef to prep a services page, it knows that means creating a grid layout with bullet points, clear pricing anchors, and conversion zones.
And if you tell it you need a new homepage, it understands the funnel. It automatically generates a striking hero section at the top, a compelling snippet about you, a high-level overview of your services to hook the viewer, a dedicated section for social proof like client testimonials, and clear calls to action placed strategically throughout the scroll.
The semantic understanding is even more valuable when you look at the notoriously difficult pages like the About page.
Oh, the absolute worst page to write.
It really is.
Trying to summarize your own life and career without sounding incredibly arrogant or, conversely, overly humble and insecure is a classic psychological hurdle for almost every independent creator.
It triggers massive imposter syndrome.
Huge.
By using AI to instantly generate a personal storytelling structure based on your profile, it gives you something concrete to react to. Human beings are naturally better at editing and critiquing than we are at generating from scratch.
That's so true.
It is infinitely easier to look at a drafted paragraph about yourself and say, no, that's a bit too formal, let me tweak it, than to stare at a blinking cursor trying to summarize your entire professional ethos.
And once you realize you can spin up pages in 10 seconds, the barrier to experimentation completely vanishes.
Oh, completely.
Let's say you are a family photographer, but you've been wanting to test the waters with corporate branding sessions. You aren't sure if there's a market for it in your local area. In the past, testing that idea meant spending 5 hours building a dedicated landing page, writing copy, and formatting galleries.
So you just procrastinate and never do it.
Exactly. Now, you just type branding photography, wait 10 seconds, verify it visually aligns with your brand, and publish it.
It fundamentally shifts the creator from a state of hesitation to a growth mindset. The friction of launching a new idea is gone. There is a golden rule in digital marketing from our sources that applies perfectly here. A live 85% complete homepage beats a perfect one that no one ever sees.
Don't try to say everything perfectly before you launch.
Exactly. Perfectionism is very often just procrastination in a tailored suit.
Oh, that's good.
It's a defense mechanism against putting your work out into the world. By handing you an 85% complete, highly optimized page, the technology strips away the excuse of perfectionism. You establish a strong, functional foundation immediately, and you can iterate and refine it over time based on actual client feedback.
So we know how to launch the site effortlessly, and we know how to aggressively test new niches by spinning up pages in seconds. But let's look further down the timeline.
Okay, looking into the future.
Yeah, say it has been 3 or 4 years. Design trends have shifted. The dark, moody aesthetic you loved in 2024 feels completely dated by 2028, and you want a total rebrand. Traditionally, wanting a new look means burning the whole house down and starting over.
Because the traditional model of website building inextricably links your content to your design. When you pick a new template on older platforms, your text gets wiped, your image galleries unlink, the formatting breaks, and you find yourself staring down the barrel of another 20-hour rebuild.
It's an absolute nightmare that keeps people trapped in outdated brands for years.
Yeah, nobody wants to deal with that.
But the architecture we are looking at today introduces a one-click template change that solves this by fundamentally separating your content from the presentation layer.
Yes. It relies on dividing the site's parameters into two distinct categories, global settings and block settings.
Okay, let me stop you there because this is where I naturally get worried.
Fair enough.
If I am just clicking one single button to change the entire aesthetic of my website, what happens to all my custom work? If I spent an hour perfectly adjusting the padding around a specific image gallery or tweaking the line spacing on my bio, doesn't all of that just get scrambled and wiped out by the new template? I just picture text overlapping and the whole site looking like a broken mess.
Okay. It is a completely justified fear, given how aggressively older platforms would break during updates. But the intelligence of this architecture lies in decoupling the data from the design.
Decoupling it how?
Think of your data, your photos, your copy, your SEO like water, and the template as a container. If you pour the water from a square glass into a round bowl, the water instantly takes the new shape without losing a single drop.
Oh, I like that.
When you click that button, the global settings change instantly. This means your overarching menus, your logo placement, your primary fonts, and your main color palettes update to the new template style.
But the water itself, my custom gallery padding, stays intact.
Precisely. That is the brilliance of the block settings. Any highly specific customized tweaks you made to individual sections, like the padding around that image, or a specific background color you chose for a single testimonial block, are flagged by the system as customized.
So it remembers.
Yes, they are fiercely protected. They will only revert to the new template's default look if you deliberately go in and click to remove that customized flag.
Oh, that is incredibly smart. Your meticulous custom work is shielded, but the global vibe of the entire site can transform in a literal second.
Exactly.
To give you all listening a visual sense of how versatile these vibes are, there are 4 new specific templates currently highlighting this capability in the source material.
And the distinct visual aesthetics really showcase how the same content can invoke entirely different emotional responses.
First, there is Emma. This one is described as timeless and elegant, clearly designed with wedding photographers and high-end event planners in mind. It has a lot of polish, lots of white space, and a very romantic flow.
Beautiful.
Then you have Pierce. Pierce is bold, modern, and no-nonsense. It relies on strong grid layouts and is built specifically for corporate headshots and professionals who need to establish immediate, unshakable trust.
It's very striking. And then the architecture can pivot to much softer, intimate approaches too.
Exactly, like Pippin. Pippin is incredibly soft and warm. It utilizes gentle tones and a welcoming feel, making it ideal for newborn and family portraits.
A totally different emotion.
And finally, there's June. June is vibrant, coastal, and energetic. It's bold and playful, packed with personality without being visually overwhelming, perfect for high-energy senior portraits or vibrant brand photography.
I love that one.
Right. And the magic here is that you could have your site set to the elegant Emma template today, decide you want a much bolder, energetic look tomorrow, and just click a button to switch to June. Your photos, your copy, and your SEO remain perfectly in place. The entire framework just effortlessly morphs around them.
And it is worth noting that businesses who have been using the platform for years aren't punished for being early adopters either.
That's a huge point.
Users sitting on older legacy systems or portfolio setups can utilize a seamless migration tool to bring their existing content into this new architecture.
They are left behind.
Right. And for the creators who are so burned out on tech that they still don't want to click a single button, there is a dedicated We Build It For You service to handle the transition.
They really have looked at every conceivable excuse a creator might have to avoid updating their digital presence and just systematically dismantled every single one of them.
They have. By decoupling the content from the design, they allow business owners to constantly leverage that marketing advantage we talked about. You can completely refresh your entire brand aesthetic to stay relevant with current trends, keep Google happy with fresh updates, and never once fear that you are going to break your site or spend a week fixing dead links.
So what does this all mean for the independent creator listening right now? Let's recap this journey we've been on today. We started with the classic 20-hour nightmare of building a site from scratch, paralyzed by the blank screen and endless formatting.
The 2010s way.
Right. We then looked at how AI turns that monumental task into a 12-minute fully populated build that utilizes your actual images and automatically writes your SEO alt text.
From there, we scaled down to the micro level, exploring how adding a highly structured, intent-driven page using semantic analysis takes under 10 seconds, which, as we discussed, completely removes the friction of testing new ideas.
And finally, we looked at how you can future-proof your digital real estate with one-click aesthetic makeovers that protect your custom content while instantly modernizing your brand.
If there's one crucial takeaway from all of this for you listening, it is that technology should fundamentally serve the creator.
Say that again.
Technology should serve the creator. For far too long, independent business owners have been forced to become amateur web developers, SEO specialists, and copywriters just to justify their existence online. These tools finally return your time to you.
That's the real value.
That is time you can spend actually shooting, editing, meeting with clients, and growing your craft.
It really all comes down to reclaiming your time and your sanity. And it leaves me with this final thought to mull over as we wrap up.
Let's hear it.
If the friction of doing all the dreaded business stuff, like writing SEO, generating page layouts, and redesigning web architecture, if all of that literally drops to zero, what excuse do any of us have left for not launching that wild experimental side project we've been dreaming about?
Honestly, the barriers are completely gone.
They really are. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep learning, keep exploring, and remember, the next time you are dreading a massive digital chore, it might just be a 15-minute coffee break away from being finished.
The Focus Shift podcast is presented by PhotoBiz, the best website solution for photographers. Whether you're launching your site or scaling your online business, PhotoBiz has your back. To get started for free, visit photobiz.com today.